What's going on, you guys? It's your Huggable Hipster here, and welcome to another episode of Soulsborne Academy, where I teach you guys the ins and outs of Dark Souls games, Bloodborne, Sekiro, but mostly Dark Souls and Bloodborne. I actually get the entire intro in one take. Oh my gosh, that makes me feel so happy right now. We're going to be going into how to prep and deal with bosses in Bloodborne. Now, I put this out as a poll yesterday on Twitter, and that's what you guys voted for the most. So let's get into it. So with how to approach bosses in Bloodborne, there are three main things that you want to keep in mind. One, your mentality. You need to understand you're going to die a lot. And no, not just one or two little measly deaths. I'm talking 10, 20, 50, 100. You need to go in with the correct mentality and understand that you are not going to beat this boss the first time around unless you are a god. You need to understand something. If you are going in to a boss battle like Orphan of Cause, you need a morphine drip, some Red Bull, and some crystals lined up, all right? Because there is no getting out of that alive on the first go. The next thing you really want to keep in mind is how these bosses move. You want to die the first few times in order to really get the gist and see, okay, this is the attack for this. This is its ultimate. These bosses don't have ultimates, but you know what I mean. This is its AoEs. This is what it does whenever it gets aggravated. This is how you can, bait and tackle the damn thing. The next thing that you really want to keep in mind is the distance and how to approach the boss battle in fullness. Now, you want to take these boss battles in chunks because whether it's Dark Souls games or it's Bloodborne games or even Sekiro games, you really want to be able to judge how far of a distance you have between their long attacks or short attacks, their AoEs, etc. So that's why I say die a few times, that way you understand what attacks they have. And also, I know this is something that I mentioned in a video previous, but go around in like a big old circle if the area is big enough to do so. That way you can see what kind of attacks they do whenever you go up close, whenever you're far away, whenever you have a little bit of like downtime to sip your coffee and whatnot. You get to see what their attacks actually are without being like right in the storm center of it. And there's another thing that I want to mention, and I know it's so overrated to say, and it's quite cheesy, but practice does make perfect. This video, I didn't expect it to be as short as it is. I might actually do somewhat of a part 2 going into more of the philosophy of the mindset that you have to go into with these types of boss battles, but prepping and understanding that death is not the end, but a beginning when it comes to all kinds of these games. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, all of these Soulsborne type games, you are going to die a lot, and dying is basically the way that you learn how to deal with all of these boss battles. Genichiro is by far one of my favorite boss battles ever in Sekiro. When you go into that boss battle, you will realize at a certain point, after you've beat that boss and you go into all of the other boss battles within that game, you will realize that that boss battle in particular is teaching you all the moves that you will need to know. Parrying, how to distance yourself, how to, basically stay right up against a character whenever they're really being aggressive. It's teaching you all of the movesets and everything you're going to need to know for all of these different types of boss battles. Lady Butterfly, the giant ape poop throwing monster. There's just so many different boss battles that are in the game Sekiro, and Genichiro is the teacher. So what do you do whenever you're in school and you get a lesson? You got to do your homework, kids. With all those Sekiro boss battles that you meet, you're going to feel comfortable then going from Sekiro to different types of Souls games. Like after Sekiro, I went in and I played Dark Souls 3. That's why for me personally, Dark Souls 3 has to be the easiest Souls games, because I went in the order of Dark Souls 1 Remaster, Bloodborne, Dark Souls, a little bit of Dark Souls 2 before I, preeminently dropped it. And then I went into Sekiro, and then I went into Dark Souls 3. So you can see how it kind of would be easy, because if you can beat Ishin Sword Sage, you can literally do everything. Another thing that I want to mention, very, very, very important. If you take anything from this video, please take this from it, okay? You ready? Pace yourself and don't go in for that extra damn attack when you think that you have an open shot, because I guarantee you the most you'll be able to get in is 2 attacks at a time. Don't go for the 3rd or 4th one. Get in, you go in for that extra attack. You think that, oh, I got this, I'm feeling cocky. Don't. Feeling cocky will be the bane of your existence. That's how I felt with Orphan of Cause. killed me multiple times. I think it was over 100 times that I went in with that boss, because the fact of the matter is that with Orphan of Cause, with any of the old Hunter boss battles, it's like a dance. You really have to be cognizant and aware of your surroundings 24/7, 365. You need to understand that these bosses have ultimate control over the player, and you need to play by their rules in order to get any headway whatsoever. Especially with with Lady Maria. That boss battle kind of reminds me of Lady Butterfly in a way, because whenever you're going into that boss battle, you have it kind of like a dance where you're parrying and she's slicing and going away. And especially in her second phase with her fire attacks, you really have to be aware of her and her movements every single moment. I think that's it. I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I wanted to bring up before I end off today's video. But yeah, in all honesty, you guys are going to be fine. You know, I'm going to do another episode of the philosophy of the mindset that you need to go into whenever you're going into Souls games. I briefly touched on it in other episodes that I've done of Soulsborne Academy, but I want to be able to cover it more in depth, because I feel like so many people go in with the mindset that difficult games are not fun, when in reality, they can be fun with the correct attitude. You wanted to play Dark Souls, or Bloodborne, or Sekiro, or even Neo. You guys wanted to play those games, right? You bought the game. You put down the purchase. You made an investment. You did the thing. I'm proud of you. Now commit. And it's okay. You know what? If you guys feel like you don't want to play these games after giving it a good college try and playing it for an hour or more, then by all means, quit the game at that point. That's absolutely fine. I'm not saying you have to force yourself to finish every game. That's left for me, okay? In all seriousness, you don't have to finish any game you don't want to, but I want to highly encourage you guys that the adventures of a game are something that you will carry with you for the rest of your life. As gamers, these are the stories that build our careers, our pastimes, our enjoyments with the people that we love. So for me, I always try to encourage people, when possible, finish a game. But you guys, if you don't like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit that bell down below. I make videos every single day here on YouTube. I did not make one yesterday because I was tired. Plain simple. I was exhausted. So yeah, if you guys want to be able to stay tuned to more episodes, more Soulsborne Academy episodes, please be sure to hit the bell. I make videos every day. I do the YouTubes. I make the content. I do the thing consistently. But with that being said, stay casually nerdy, you guys, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya.